OTAs in camp are in full swing. What's the vibe there? We're going to do a check with one of my buddies today. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen free wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Camp is in full swing. Voluntary camp begins mid next week. And before you know it, we're going to be in NOLA watching the Arizona Cardinals take on me as the Saints quarterback. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be, but it's going to be a great kickoff for the Cardinals week one. But there's a lot of incremental growth that needs to happen between now and then, and it kicked off a few days ago. Joining me now, my buddy Donny Duan, Sports Illustrated writer for the Cardinals. And dude, here's the thing. I'm romanticizing this part of the offseason because it's like it's finally here. Like, it's here. Everything that you, me, fans, players, employees of the Arizona Cardinals have been waiting for the unveiling of the true Arizona Cardinals 2.0. Now, don't agree with me, just agree with me. I know you don't, but I want everybody to know that you don't. Does it feel like that around the facility? Does it feel officially different?
It does, one, because and like Jonathan Gannon and Drew Petzinga were very clear to say, hey, like football season, like we're only in helmets. Like, you know, we'll really see what happens whenever we put pads on. And we'll see guys start to separate themselves. But I just think with how last season ended, not only the great start, the falling off the cliff, but maybe like that week 18 finale where they just took the 49ers behind the woodshed and said, hey, you know what? There's something here. I think that compiling on top of free agency, compiling on top of the draft, there's real expectations out here now. And I think that makes going to work for those guys exciting because they're not the 4-13 underdogs anymore. They're the team who should be competing for a division title, for a wild card berth in the NFC playoff picture. Those expectations, right or wrong, are now on this football team. And I think they're embracing that. And I think they know they're talented enough to get there. So I do think because of that, there's considerable buzz and excitement around the facility, not from us, not from fans, but from the team itself.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, I mentioned this 2 years before it happened, not saying that I'm Clance Stradamus or anything, but it's a Detroit Lions thing. Like, that was the path. Perennially dysfunctional, losing, laughingstock organization to, oh my God, bright shining star. And what the Cardinals have on roster is just that. They've got a sexy roster at the right positions, and they've got the necessary, bodies in non-sexy positions to be able to level up from where they were last year. Now, Jonathan Gannon, Kyler Murray, James Conner, Budda Baker, this is when the leaders lead at the next level. James Conner's ready for it. Budda Baker, we'll see if Kyler Murray TBD. This is the year for him. Are you seeing early on kind of the hierarchy of leadership from older dudes to, the younger cats, 2 and 3 year guys? Or is it still kind of an amoeba because it's still so early?
Yeah, it is a little bit early, but the good thing with the Cardinals heading into year 3 under Jonathan Gannon is that you do have those established leaders. You do have a Kyler Murray. You do have a Budda Baker. You do have a James Conner who did speak to reporters after the OTA practice that we were able to go to. And there's some talk about maybe limiting his workload, whether it be in the offseason or this upcoming year for 2025. And he's like, no, I'm here to work. I'm not going to take any days off. And whether it's like vocal leaders, whether it's leading by example, like not only those guys, but there's a bunch of other guys who've been there for 2 or 3 years under Gannon, under Petzinga, under Rallis, who understand, hey, you know what? We have the keys to turn this thing around. It starts with us. And I think Gannon has always said it best, Alex. The players police themselves. Jonathan Gannon does not have to walk around that facility and have to remind guys to get an extra lift in, to get some extra film study in. The players do a very, very good job themselves. And I think heading into 2025, it's still kind of early, but you do see that leadership already taking place.
Yeah. And I mean, seeing some clips from you and other guys who are out there every day, it's just, people look bigger. I'll discuss a couple in the next segment. The adjectives you and I talked about through the draft process that JG and Nick Rallis specifically are looking for is violence. Like, that's That's one of their favorite things, one of their favorite words to use. And even with the little clips with, whether it be Walter Nolen or Darius Robinson, I know Walter Nolen's been off to the side, as you reported, a little bit more. And then you see Dalvin, you see vet guys, like they're hitting things harder than this isn't just like, oh, football's new again, so everything looks fresh. It looks different from afar. Will Johnson looks like he's got giddy up right away. Doesn't look like he's unhealthy at all. Like, would you be surprised if there was some categorical error this season with how things have turned out? Obviously, you can't predict the future, but it seems like they're doing all the little things properly from the jump.
I would be shocked, not if they like missed the postseason, because I still feel like they're kind of in that territory to where they very much can, but they might not make it either. I know the expectations is kind of postseason a bust at this point, and rightfully so. But like, if things go sideways this year, it would have to be due to injury. It would. There's no other reasonable reason, rhyme, or way to where the Cardinals just fall flat on their faces here. Like I truly cannot see it. I think at worst they'll repeat their record from last year. And who knows, man? Like 50% of games in the NFL come down to one score. The Cardinals lost their fair share of games in one scores last year, but they also won their fair share of games too. So they're running it back on the offensive side of the ball. They're banking on the power of friendship to lead Kyler Murray and Drew Petzinga to greater heights in year 3. I'm still skeptical on that. We'll see. But the work they did on the defensive side of the ball should net them a couple more wins, I believe.
Fantastic verbiage there, because that led right into my final question before we pivot. Like, I've got a lot of Drew Petzinga and Kyler haters in the comments every day, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is. And listen, it's verifiable with how the Cardinals ended last season. Obviously didn't have a pass like they did the year before. You and others reported that Drew Petzinga and Kyler Murray were definitely in the lab trying to figure out what this offense should look like in 2025. Accurate, correct? Was there any sort of expounding upon that when the guys were at the podium?
Not necessarily, no. And those guys are trained pretty well by the media relations department. I feel like
good job.
They maybe don't spill all of the company secrets over a microphone. So I definitely get it, definitely understand it. But I think Kyler knows it's a very, very big year for him, and I think Drew also knows. Hey, it's year 3, time to get off the pot.
Because you know what? That will be the most coveted job of all coordinator jobs going into 2026 if Drew Petzinga is no longer there. I mean, you got Marv, you got Trey. That's a 1-2 punch that can rival any if they were to take the next steps like the other tandems have done. Donny Duan, Sports Illustrated, joining me here, Arizona Cardinals writer, at Donny Duan, one of the 1%ers, first name, last name on Twitter. That's why I have him back. It's not so much for the content, so I can say my phrase that I've said over the last 9 seasons. Body transformation. There's a couple dudes that look a lot bigger going into this season than they did last season. I'm discussing next. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. So here's the thing. I love FanDuel, and FanDuel is your one-stop shop for NBA playoffs, man. If you haven't been watching the NBA playoffs, are you sleeping under a rock? Are you back in the Mesozoic era? It's one of the best playoffs we've seen in quite some time, and every night delivers highlights, worthy performances, major momentum shifts, can't miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live, and with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. We got a Game 6 Saturday night. We have a potential Game 7 Monday night. You want to pick one of those two teams to knock off OKC and win the championship? You can pick all the futures you want over at FanDuel. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Here, head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Donny Duan joining me here, Arizona Cardinals writer for Sports Illustrated. So here's the thing, man. Marv looks yoked. Darius Robinson looks like he 3D copied his head and put him on each of his biceps. Like, these things seem like small things. Oh, Marv should have been like that last year. Marv is 22 years old, okay? Bodies transform differently. Wide receivers can have muscles and still be fast. Marvin Harrison Jr. is never going to be the burner that Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase is going to be. You want him to win the 50-50 balls, of which he was 30-70 last year. I don't have an issue with that. Seeing Darius Robinson being ready to rock, like, dude, if there's any high-level production from him. This is a top 5 defense. Like, we forget about him. Bijou Ojulari's been an afterthought because he's been injured. Like, when you saw those guys pull up and sit on the podium, you're like, yo, what? I mean, that's got to be a buzz around everywhere.
Oh, no, for sure. I love the point that you brought up about like, oh, Marv could have looked like that last year. And I understand that colleges, especially a very prestigious program like Ohio State, they have a very good nutrition plan, that they have a very good weightlifting program. Right. Like they're as close to NFL ready as you can be at the college level whenever it comes to everything off the field too. But they're not NFL strength and conditioning programs. So they are not. Marv, I'm sure with his NIL deal and him playing at Ohio State, I'm sure he had food provided for him, but it's just a different beast at the National Football League too. And you talk about the guys and them hitting the rookie wall. This has really been their first offseason to where they've gotten their feet wet. They've gotten to take a deep breath and say, you know what? They'll have to prepare for the combine. They'll have to go to interviews and like top 30 visits or anything like that. Like, I have time to absorb everything. I have time to actually grow my body, put muscle on, get bigger and better. And they did. They did. I remember being at rookie meeting camp, and we didn't get a whole lot there. 20 minutes of stretching by the rookies, but a couple of players came out from the weight room and sat on this little wall right by next to where they were stretching. And the talk of rookie mini camp was not Will Johnson, Walter Nolen, Jordan Birch, Cody Simon, whoever it might be. It was Darius Robinson sitting on the wall, shirtless, looking like a action figure. And then we talked to him this week for OTAs, Alex, and it looks like he ate Darius Robinson from last year and absorbed all the protein and all the muscle. And same thing with Marv too. Like Marv walked in, and I'm like, dude, like that's how you get randomly drug tested. It is phenomenal to see the strength and conditioning program work, because you visibly see the difference in how strong those guys got from last year to this year.
Yeah, imagine what happens when they're not an analog anymore and they're in the 21st century when this new facility opens up. That was for sure in the works before the third scathing report card. It definitely wasn't reported immediately after to save any sort of face, because Michael Biddle has been fantastic at doing that in the past. So we'll talk about the rookies in a second. When it comes to when I'm watching from afar, you get the interviews, you guys do a great work on the beat, and I'm sitting here like a lowly podcast host, just waiting for content that you guys provide for me. And I source, okay, not a maniac. It's hard to find, and I always talk about this. We've done this a couple years in a row. It's still early, but I'm going to ask you this in a month when I have you on again. Like, have there been any precursor to quote unquote oh no moments from younger dudes? Like even running routes, even doing little things where it's like, ooh, that wasn't great. It's like, oh, fine, doesn't matter, keep going. Like camp can only hurt somebody, in my opinion, unless you're Greg Dortch and you make rosters because you were the 54th dude 3 years in a row and you were a darling in camp. Like, has there been any kind of moments that you've seen?
No, not off the top of my head. And like that's even coming through the stuff that I did see in camp, because like reminder, like we get a 20-minute practice viewing session, basically them stretching and going through individual drills, and then like they shut it down. Like we cannot report anything that comes after that. But like even racking my head of like the stuff that I did see after they had closed the practice down, no. I think the closest thing that came to it was I posted a clip of the defensive lineman doing drills, like individual drills at practice, and like Darius Robinson like went too high on the pad or went too low, and the defensive line coach brought him right back and was kind of walking him through, hey, you went too high, here's why that's bad, here's why we need you to go low. And more than anything, like it was just good to see like the receptive of coaching, because like a lot of guys, a lot of first round picks, they would have been like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm here for a reason. I know what I got to do. Sure, whatever, coach. But like, it really seemed like that was a good moment for Darius to soak in that little teaching moment and be like, you know what? Like, yeah, I did do that wrong. Let me go back and do it better.
Sweet. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I figured that was going to be the answer, but it's kind of like a little barometer check, little litmus test early. Rookie wise, this will be a very light segment, but I kind of want to just get a broad overview of what you've seen so far. Discuss that next. Donny Duan, Sports Illustrated Arizona Cardinals writer, joining me if I can talk on a Friday next. I mean, my brain just tends to check out, dude. Like, I work on East Coast hours a lot of times, so I'm already ready for a nap. At Donny Duan on Twitter. So rookies. One thing about me after the draft, I know we chatted after the draft, but Jordan Birch fascinates me. I think he could be a real impact guy because he doesn't have the pressure necessarily on him to produce. He can be kind of a fly-by-night dude. He's violent. He's a great bull rusher, all those things. I think he could pop the pass rusher room. He's a big dude. Cody Simon fascinates me too because they need a green dot dude for the future. And if he can be that guy, under the tutelage of the vets they have now, like that could be fascinating. Again, a defensive player of the year in the national championship game right after Will Johnson got it the year before. So with the rookies, is there anything that you see? I saw a couple clips of Will Johnson, running his backtrack and then, catch and burst. Like he's got bounce. Like Will Johnson looks like what a cornerback one's supposed to look like. Yeah. Do you agree with that from what you've seen in the small?
No, I would agree. And seeing him with my own eyes, his knee looked fine. Like I know the concerns around his knee are long term, and he told us after he got drafted that he hadn't had any knee problems for 2 years, and be what it may be, but like from what I saw at practice, his knee looks great. Like if that knee was never brought up in the pre-draft process, I never would have known about it. Never, which is how he moves. Walter Nolen was working off to the side, and like it wasn't like he wasn't like holding out or anything. Like his contract isn't resolved yet, and like I'm pretty sure his agent was just like, "Hey man, like just show up, put your jersey on, and go do some work on the side. Like we're gonna finalize this thing here in a couple of days, and then you'll be good to go. But like, don't get hurt out there." And like he's obviously not the only rookie who hasn't been signed to a contract yet, nor is he the only first-round pick who isn't showing up for his team right now. Looking at Shamar Stewart in Cincinnati. But he was off to the side doing work, and it wasn't just like light work either. Like he was getting the sweat in for sure. I didn't see much of Cody Simon and didn't see much of Jordan Birch, although like Birch does look like a big dude from being up close with them. And I do like that he doesn't have that pressure on him to perform like you had highlighted, because he could kind of be that tweener defensive end, maybe like outside edge rusher, like whatever the Cardinals need him to be. It feels like he could do both. And like you said earlier, man, like he's violent, and the other V word that the Cardinals love is versatility. He provides exactly that. I'm trying to rack my head of like the other rookies. I didn't see too much of Hayden Connor or like Denzel Burke at all. So it's still pretty early, but like from the top guys, like I've liked what I've seen so far.
Yeah. I think the Walter Nolen, everybody can just relax. He's not Robert Condice. Okay. Just chill the bleep out. It's the same thing I said with Cam Scatterbo. It's like, oh, he went to ASU. Draft him. Why? Don't be irrational. Who cares? He started at Sac State. He's not homegrown. Okay, relax. Same thing with Walter Nolen. Relax. Everything's going to be fine. And I will leave you with this. And this is how you've seen, this is the third offseason and third draft. That if you remove this entire rookie class and the Cardinals played 2025 without any of them and just the free agents, every position group would have improved from last year. Like I'm in the camp, or it stayed the same. Like you give that secondary another year together without Will Johnson. Will Johnson isn't supposed to be on this team, man. He wasn't supposed to drop to 47. You have guys like Trevor Sikkema and Connor Orr and all these big names mocking him in the top 15. They would have known about a knee injury if it was a big deal. These guys aren't idiots. This is what they do year round. So if you remove all that rookie class, this team is already improved. You had everybody else in. None of them have been drafted to save a position group at all. So that is a very, very good and cocooned, safe place for a rookie to be, right? I mean, would you agree with that?
No, 100%. The Cardinals were in a spot heading into the draft because they did so well in free agency to where there was no glaring holes. Yeah, there were spots you would have like shored up. Absolutely. And I'm looking at the offensive line whenever I say that, but nowhere did I feel like the Cardinals took somebody. It's like, oh man, like there's pressure on them right away to put up these like gaudy numbers and step up and like be like a leader in the room. They didn't take like a quarterback or like a star wide receiver like they did Marvin Harrison last year. I feel like that would have been fair for Marvin, saying that heading into his rookie year. And I feel like a lot of people did place those expectations, but like 2025's class, no. Like every single one of those guys already went into a room to where like they can make an impact from day one. They probably will be expected to contribute right away, or at least throughout the course of the season, but none of those guys have to put a cape on and save the day.
Yeah, it's crazy. And everybody's got the buddy system. Everybody's got a seasoned, respected vet. Will Johnson has Budda Baker. Dalvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell for Darius Robinson and Walter Nolen. Josh Sweat and Baron Browning for Jordan Burch. Like, everybody's got a dude that they can be next to. And James Conner's got Trey Benson, who's set to stay, take hopefully a bigger leap this year. Tell people where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, SL.com/NFL/Cardinals, and follow me on Twitter at Donny Duan.
Alex Nancy, Locked On Cardinals. Remember, without you, there is no me. To kick off next week, we're going down to 3 shows a week. I may do 5 once in a while if there's news for the next couple weeks. The first segment of Monday's show, I say officially goodbye to Steve Keim, and it's going to be awesome. I'll talk to you then.